crazy. Wait, live? Okay. Hi, everybody at home. This is so funny because I'm like, we're here together. We're here together online. So, hello. Happy to be here with everybody. I will say it's so nice to be here in this space. Like, I pulled up this morning and just felt so good to be on. It's going to be really nice to practice with other people. So, to everybody at home, we've got a few people here. You can't really see them on camera, but we're here together and with you at home, so happy to have you as well. But just kind of, I think, talking about the importance of our connectivity and what we share in our practice together, whether it's on the mat, in the world, in our home, in our relationships. I think yoga probably has been something that's helped all of us probably sift through this hard time. And happy to be here today. So we'll actually get started lying down. So if you want to start on your back, and then just as a reminder, next time you come, I brought my pillow from home. If you're coming into the studio, feel free to bring whatever you want. Michelle brought her blanket. If you want to bring a pillow, if you have blocks, straps, anything, just until things kind of really calm down with, virus stuff. We're not going to have any props for class, unfortunately. So whatever you like from home, like even if it's books that you would use as a block or a blanket or a pillow, whatever you want to bring with you, bring it on with you if you come into the studio. So just find in that comfortable space as you lay on the mat. Allowing your arms and your legs to just relax onto the mat. Feeling your head relaxing to the ground. Letting your eyes softly close. And as you come into this space, onto your mat, each breath, just allowing yourself to surrender. We've all been carrying a lot with us. So with each breath this morning as we practice, inhaling fully to fill yourself up, whatever it is you need. With each exhale, letting yourself release whatever it is you need to let go. Beginning to imagine the breath, you can fill yourself up from the toes. So as you're breathing the breath in through the nose, it looks like you're sipping the breath in, filling the body from the toes, through the legs, from the lower belly, all the way up through the chest. At the top of the breath, just relax and let the exhale leave the body. Taking a few more of these big, huge, refreshing, filling breaths, filling your whole body up, feeling the breath expand gently, all the way up to the edges of the body. And on your exhale, allow yourself to release. One last big deep breath, the biggest breath you've taken all morning, allowing yourself to fill up as completely as you can. And then when you get to the top of that breath, hold and pause. Hold it in. Retaining that energy and then release. Each breath filling you up. Each exhale, helping you to let go. And as we practice in this room together and at home together, just knowing our connectivity is so powerful, from near and far, that we're here together, even though we may not see each other as often as we would like right now. But just knowing and feeling that presence in each breath. We're going to just place both hands over heart center, one on top of the other. And we'll begin together with the sound of bones, taking a deep breath in fully. On your next breath, sending your arms up over your head and reaching towards the wall behind you, your toes towards the front of the room. And begin to feel your body get nice and long, stretching in opposite directions. And on your exhale, bringing your knees into your chest, squeezing everything in, and bringing your forehead up towards the knees, coming into Apanasana, energy-freeing pose. So we squeeze everything in, tighten all the muscles. And then on your exhale, let it go, softening, letting your head rest back on the mat. And then holding on to your knees, just starting to make some circles with your knees, almost like you could draw circles on the ceiling with the knees. So you start to create this nice little massage into the lower back. And then changing directions, allowing the lower back to release just softly here. And then we'll bring the knees back into center. And then allowing yourself to just squeeze the knees in so you'll feel the tailbone gently roll up. And then lengthen the spine, letting the lower back relax down into the mat. So inhale, bringing the knees in. And exhale, relaxing, letting it all release out. One more time. So we're just kind of starting to wake up the lower back. And then this time, as you release, letting the soles of the feet find the floor. So heels are going to kind of be towards your seat. Arms relax alongside the body. And we're going to come into a moving bridge with breath. So on an inhale, push your feet into the ground and begin to lift your hips towards the sky. So bringing your hips up as much as it feels good to you. And then on your exhale, vertebra by vertebra, slowly release the back down onto the mat, letting your pelvis come down last. Deep breath in, connecting breath and movement as you inhale, lifting the pelvis, feeling some space be created in the front of the body with the breath. And then slowly release down, vertebra by vertebra, pelvis coming down last. Firmly planting the feet into the ground, squeezing through the glutes to lift up through the upper body. And letting the body release down with the exhale. And the next time you come up on the inhale, push down into the feet and begin to move your arms up towards the ceiling and then reaching the fingertips towards the wall behind you. And then exhale, releasing the arms down alongside the body as you let the torso release towards the ground. So take this about 3 more times, moving at your pace with breath. Inhale, moving up. Arms come up with you. And on your exhale, slowly release the arms and the torso back down. So this dance of the body and the breath together, we start to find our rhythm. Start to let the mind drift as we move into this space of yoga. And then as you release this last time, letting the arms relax alongside the body. And then bringing your knees into the chest, but letting your knees kind of come away from each other as you make this space. Knees come into the shoulders and just kind of rocking side to side. Relaxing the lower back. And then we'll plant our feet back down onto the mat. So coming into a nice figure 4 stretch, waking up through the hips, the hamstrings. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So letting that knee kind of just drift to the side, placing your right hand on the right knee. So we're just kind of pushing that leg away. So creating that little bit of tension, stretching into that right hip. And come back to the breath, even holding this posture. Let your mind's eye and awareness just be with the breath. So we may change shapes or postures in the body, but the breath is that common thread that kind of stays with us. And as the mind might drift and come in and out of different thoughts, just keep coming back to the breath. That's really one of the biggest parts of our practice. And we'll softly release that tension on the leg and then bring both hands through, wrapping your hands around the back of the left thigh. So as you squeeze everything in, we bring the legs in towards the torso, stretching into the glutes and the right side of the hip. So holding here for a few breaths, creating that nice stretch, filling yourself up with breath. And then we'll begin to lift and straighten the left leg. So our left heel reaches towards the sky. So keep some flexion in your foot. So your toes are coming towards you. The heel keeps reaching away. So we create that stretch with the back of the left leg. And then we'll begin to just kind of rock side to side. So I like to think of my leg towards the sky almost like the needle of a metronome. Kind of keeping rhythm, going back and forth. We're still using abdominal strength, drawing in towards the spine, kind of holding the foundation at the lower back and pelvis as we rock here. And then we'll come back to center. Reach that heel up towards the sky, really lengthening the back of the leg. And then we'll release that leg. Let the left leg come long onto the mat. And then just hugging that right knee in towards the chest. So we squeeze it in. And then we're going to make some big circles, holding on to the right knee with the right hand. Almost churning that ball and socket. And I like to think of this as like a big bowl. We've all been cooking a lot at home. So almost like the head of the femur into the socket, you're kind of getting all of the edges of that bowl. So just kind of rolling it around there and then change directions. And then we'll slowly start to bring that knee in and then straightening that right leg out onto the mat. And you just take a big deep breath here. Allow yourself to just feel the difference on that right and left side. So as we start to move and build energy and get our circulation flowing in the body, start to paying attention how we build our practice, how it starts to create energy and release in the body. And then we'll walk our feet back in, bringing both heels in towards your seat. Then we'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And then just place the left hand onto that left thigh or left knee and just pushing that left leg away. So just holding tension here, almost like your arm were really trying to push that leg as far as it could go. And then begin to come back to the breath. Sending that breath into spaces that need it most. Our body's always trying to keep harmony. And in our practice in yoga, as we move and we breathe, we're just kind of adding into that harmony. It's already existing in the body. We just begin to play a more conscious part. And then slowly releasing that tension. We'll reach both hands now through and wrap your hands around the back of the right leg. And squeeze the legs in towards the chest. So we hold here for that stretch, feeling the stretch into the glutes and to that left outer hip. Take some big breaths. Let it move into the spaces that need it most. I like to imagine our breath and our body have this wisdom. And we just take big deep breaths, our body kind of knows where we need nurturing. We can send that energy into the spaces we need it most. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's mental, spiritual, whatever it is. But Just letting your breath and your body and spirit just kind of yoke together in the practice. And then we'll straighten that right leg up towards the sky, reaching that right heel up, feeling that nice stretch at the back of the leg. So your foot is in flexion, heel towards the sky, toes towards you. And then draw that abdominal energy, and we create that foundation of protecting the spine and start to rock side to side. So keeping time with your breath and the body as you just rock side to side here. And this is a really nice stretch. All the nerves that kind of run through the lower back and the sacral plate and sciatic area too. So if you ever have lower back, sciatic issues, this whole little sequence can help release those areas. We'll come back to center, letting the hands release, and let your right leg just release all the way down onto the mat, nice and long, and then bringing your left hand to your left knee, starting to make some big circles on that left side. So churning that nice big bowl. That head of the femur just kind of releases and moves all that space around on the left. And then change directions. And then we'll bring the left leg alongside the right. Taking this little pause of breath. Feeling the body surrender and let go for just a moment. These little moments of peace. They're always there when we can just drop into them. And then we'll slowly start to bring the knees back in. And we'll kind of rock and roll our way up to a comfortable seat. Coming together. Just kind of center down, and the soles of the feet together. So we kind of work on opening up through the lower back and the hips. So it's always a nice thing to do with your lower back and hamstrings so tight. If you start laying down and start working with the lower back and hamstrings, by the time you come up, the rest of it kind of comes together a little bit more nice. So we'll kind of just continue with that, and then we'll make our way up through the practice. So with the soles of the feet together, the knees out wide, keep your elbows and pushing right into the knees. Coming into Baddha butterfly. Just letting yourself just fold over the legs. Take some big deep breaths there. So you hold this little bit of tension, stretching into the connective tissues, but still coming back to your breath. Each breath filling you up. Each exhale helping you release. And we'll come back up, bring your knees together. And we'll take a full back stretch. So planting the soles of your feet down. Toes up. You can either reach around the legs or reach through, whatever feels best to you. But just kind of reaching for the balls of the feet. Almost like you're stepping on the gas. You're going to press really hard into it. So start to push your feet into your hands, chin to the chest, and start to round the back. So this creates this nice stretch from the top of the head all the way down the back. So keep pushing your feet into your hands. So you're just creating this place of tension, hold, and create this nice stretch through all the muscles of the neck. Filling yourself up with breath. And then we'll slowly release, rolling up the spine. And we're going to make our way onto hands and knees, coming into cat-cow. This is the funny part. There's Home practice on my moves here. So I'm like, I'm gonna face y'all. So I'm not ignoring myself. But bring your hands in front of you, underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Starting to move with breath. Finding that firm foundation here. So your belly button draws in. You kind of protect the spine with that. And then begin to round the back, tucking the tailbone under. Chin towards the chest, really pushing the heart, or the back of the heart, towards the sky. And on your inhale, reverse the curve of the spine, letting the belly release towards the sky, gaze comes up. And then moving back and forth. And again, find the rhythm of your breath as you inhale, move into this beautiful lift through the heart. As you exhale, round the back, allowing space to build through the spine. And then as you come back from center this next time, you're going to take your gaze over your right shoulder, looking towards your back hip. They're on the right side, feeling some openness on the left. And then you come back through center, taking the gaze over the left, looking over towards that side, feeling openness on the right. And just kind of go back and forth. So this is creating some lateral movement into the spine. So the sides of the spine kind of open here. And then we'll connect all of that coming into some barrel pose. So almost like you're tracing inside the barrel with your torso, so almost coming around in a circle. I like to imagine my back, you can kind of come through that cat-like back, let your ribs go to one side, and then belly towards the ground, the other side. And then letting your head and neck kind of get involved in this. So it creates this almost full body, full spinal opening. You can bend your elbows, move your head, your shoulders, whatever feels good. Kind of just let it feel like this nice organic flowing movement. And then change direction. And then we'll come back to center. Open your knees nice and wide, big toes touch, and we'll make our way into child's pose. So letting your heart reach towards the ground. With your fingertips as far as you can, allowing yourself to just rest your forehead. So taking some big deep breaths here in your child's pose. So as you're in that space, allowing the breath to spread out into the edges, almost creating space with each breath to feel your rib cage expand. And then start to spread the breath into the lower back, feeling the space into the lower back towards your pelvis, even start to create space with each inhale. And a few more big deep breaths here. And we'll slowly start to walk the hands over towards the right side, placing your left hand on top of the right. So with energy, push your hands into the ground, sending your hips back so you feel this nice stretch all the way through the left side of the body. Take some big deep breaths, feeling the breath expand fully. And on your exhales, allowing yourself to release. Coming back through center. And then walking your hands over to the left. Place your right hand on top, reaching your seat back. So there's some really firm energy. Hands pushing down so your hips can reach back. And breathing into that side body on the right. Coming back to center. Plant your hands down, allowing yourself just to surrender here for just a breath. And then we'll begin to make our way up into our first downward facing dog. So from here, allowing yourself to begin to lift the hips towards the sky. And then just starting to walk your dog out. So bending one knee and then the other. Even shaking your head out, yes and no. So it's a nice leisurely walk. One heel gets heavy than the other, letting your hips shift. And then we'll slowly walk our hands back to meet our feet. So we'll all be towards the back of the mat in this nice standing forward fold, Uttanasana. So we'll create this nice traction as our seat reaches towards the sky and the crown of the head towards the ground. And if you feel still pretty tight in the backs of your legs or your hands don't make it to the floor, bend your knees so that your fingertips can come to the ground. And then begin to draw the belly in so you can reach your seat up. And then from here, we'll hold on to opposite elbows, just framing the head. Again, sending the breath into the spaces that need it the most. Allow your hands to release towards the ground. Bend your knees pretty deeply. And then draw the belly in, stabilizing the spine. Squeezing from the glutes. Start to roll the spine up, vertebra by vertebra. So we use our strength to lift up. Head, neck, and shoulders come up last. Arms relax all inside the body. Take some big deep breaths here. Just feeling that nice, strong, peaceful foundation in the body. And then we'll move with breath. Take the arms up over the head. And on your exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to kind of find a little walk with stretch here. So hands at heart center. We're going to step the right foot about halfway up the mat. And your feet are going to stay about hip distance apart, almost like railroad tracks. So you're not kind of on a balance beam. So coming into a variation of pyramid, with hands at heart center, take a big deep breath in. And just a reminder, it's kind of like this midline energy. It's like your legs are scissors. Kind of squeezing in the thigh together, drawing the belly in, and take the arms up. On your exhale, fold forward, and we're going to stop about halfway. So notice here, inner thigh needs to squeeze together, belly needs to draw in, and then bring your hands back to heart center. So your right hip moves back, left hip moves forward, squeezing in. On your next breath, reach the hands back out like you're reaching for the wall in front of you. And then step your left foot up to meet your right. Hands at heart center. Bend your knees into this little tiny chair for just a moment. Inhale, nice and tall. Stand up. And then we'll take a back bend. Hands behind you. So you're interlacing your fingers. Hands come towards your seat. And lift the heart. So the sequence starts to bring some energy in the upper body as well. Releasing that inhale, the arms back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then we'll step our left foot to the top of the mat. So coming back into this opposite side, all 10 toes facing towards the top of the mat. Inhale the arms up. And on your exhale, fold forward, squeezing from midline. So almost finding this nice long line from your seat to the fingertips. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then let yourself fold a little bit more deeply towards that left leg. So we're squeezing midline, inner thighs. Your left hip shifts back as your right comes forward. So kind of playing with that midline balance energy. Start to bend into the left knee, step your right foot forward to meet the left, coming into that little tiny chair for a moment. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands behind you, releasing your fingers. Sending your hands towards your heels. Reach the heart up, taking the standing up. On your exhale, release the hands alongside the body. Close the eyes. Finding your orthodoxy. Finding your strong foundation. Your own 2 feet. Each breath filling you up. Each exhale, letting you release. On your next breath, we'll take the arms back up over the head. And we'll exhale right through heart center. We're going to take some standing half sun salutes. So on your breath, inhale, hands to your shins, finding a long spine. Exhale, fold. Deep breath in, rise all the way up, palms come together over the head. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll do that twice more. We're creating this movement through the whole body. Inhale up. Exhale, fold right through heart center, folding over the legs. Inhale, long spine, hands to the shins. Exhale, release. One more time, rise all the way up, palms come together over the head. Exhale, hands to the heart. One last time. Breathe in, bring all that energy from the feet up towards the sky. And exhale, release all the way down. Inhale, half lift, nice long spine. And then release. Fingertips towards the toes. So from here, fingertips towards the toes, bend your knees pretty deeply to get your hands kind of almost in line with the feet. And we're going to step far back with your right foot, coming into our low lunge. So just setting up here. Gaze is forward, and then start to let that right knee come down, top of the foot relaxes here. And we're going to take the arms up over the head. So this is our kind of balance point here for midline energy. Even here, inner thighs draw together, draw the belly up and in, and even keeping energy between the hands, like you're holding something between the hands, so precious. And on your exhale, draw the elbows down, lift the heart, take the gaze a little bit higher. And then we'll lift back up. Exhale, draw the elbows down. Inhale up. And on your exhale, hands to your heart center. So find that midline energy. Everything squeezes into center. We're going to place our right hand down in line with that left foot. And left hand onto the left knee. And start to just twist. The left shoulder lifts back. Now this is where you can build onto it if you like. That left hand can come to the sky. Opening up a little more. If you want to open up even a little bit more, you can curl the toes under on that right side and lift the knee. So breathing into this. So our balance coming from center, squeezing the belly. Energy from that right hand to the ground all the way to the left fingertips in the sky. And then on your exhale, let that hand come down, let the right knee come down. And we'll straighten the left leg, folding back, the toes lift, so we come into this hamstring stretch as you release over the left leg. Take a few deep breaths here. And then we'll come back up, planting that left foot down. This time curling toes under, but plant your right heel down onto the ground. And we're going to make our way up into warrior one. So our hips face forward, arms over the head, and then bending into that left knee. And again, moving with your breath, elbows down, lift the heart. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, elbows down, lifting the heart. So we squeeze from that foundation, but keep lifting energy up to the sky. Elbows draw down. This time bring your hands to heart center. We'll open up warrior two. So it's this little flowing movement here. We bend into that front knee, arms extend out from the shoulders. And then as you breathe in, straighten your front leg, come up. Exhale, bend into that front knee. Arms extend out. So like we're gathering energy from the ground, bringing it up, straightening that front leg. Exhale down. One more time with your breath. Inhale up. And exhale down. From here, we'll bring the hands down and step back to your downward facing dog. Walking your feet out left and right. Bending into the knees, letting your heels get heavy. And then come down onto the knees. Let your seat release back, taking a pause in child's pose. So using energy from the hands to reach your seat back. As you inhale, we'll start to round the spine up towards the sky, finding this cat-like back. And then lift the heart, so we're coming into this modified up dog as your hips come towards your wrists. And then bend the elbows, lower all the way down onto the ground. And from here, we'll stack the hands. Let your forehead rest right on top of the hands. So finding the balance of your effort and your ease. We move the body. We start to build energy. And then we take moments that we can just let go. So we begin to feel the breath. We begin to literally feel the heartbeat. This beautiful energy that's flowing through us all day, every day. We pause in this moment of ease just to feel it. And then before we move to the next side, just bending your knees. And then making some circles with your ankles. So kind of circle the feet, letting the feet and the ankles stretch a bit here. And then changing direction, letting the feet move in the opposite direction. And then letting your legs relax back onto the mat. Bring your hands in line with the chest. We'll come all the way back up, finding downward facing dog. So as you lift your hips, again, walking your feet, letting your legs and hips stretch. And then we'll start to walk our feet up towards the hands. So as we walk our way to the top of the mat, finding that nice forward fold, letting your head relax towards the ground. And then we'll slowly roll the spine up vertebra by vertebra, squeezing the legs, draw the belly in, and let the spine go nice and tall. And we begin again from this place of Tadasana, your mountain pose. This beautiful place of strength and grace. On your own 2 feet. And then we'll move together. Inhale, take the arms up. And then exhale, right through heart center. Inhale, half lift, taking a long spine. And then release towards the ground. This time stepping your left foot far back. So we come into this low lunge on this side. Letting that left knee come down. Top of the foot relaxes, and then we come all the way up, arms extend up over the head. So we find this foundation, the legs come squeeze together, belly draws in, and reach energy even into the fingertips, like you're holding something right between the hands. And then start to draw the shoulder blades down the back, elbows draw down, heart lifts. Inhale, taking the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, elbows down. One more time, deep breath and rise up. And then as you exhale, letting your hands come down to the earth. Left hand's planted and your right hand onto the right knee. So this is where you can stay. We're coming into a twist. So as you rotate, taking your gaze over the right shoulder, you can stay here. If you want to grow this twist, you can reach the right arm up towards the right side of the sky. Breathing in here. If you'd like to open it up a little bit more, you can curl the toes under on the left, begin to lift the knee and stretch into this kind of full open expression through the whole body. But again, take it to where you need it in your stage, where you need to be today. Deep breath in, reaching up and out. And on your exhale, release that right hand down. Let that left knee come down. And then straighten your right leg. Reach the hips back, stretching into that leg. So your toes are in flexion, toes towards the sky, heels kind of planted firmly. Taking some big deep breaths here. And then we'll plant that right foot down. Hands are in line with the toes. Curl that left foot under, planting your left heel down. And we'll make our way up into Warrior One. So from here, arms extend up, hips facing forward. Take some big deep breaths. Reaching up and out with your arms. And then holding the strong foundation, elbows draw down as you lift the heart. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, draw down. One more breath, lifting up. Exhale, draw down. And then we'll bring the hands together at heart center. Opening up to Warrior Two. Now the pelvis comes into this kind of open plane. Bend deeply to that right knee. Arms extend out. And then we'll move with this. With your breath inhale, arms come up as you straighten your right leg. Exhale, bend and release all the way out. So take this a few more times with your breath. Each breath you gather that energy from the ground, moving all the way up. And as you exhale, hold it here, extending arms out. And then we'll cartwheel the hands down, stepping back to your downward facing dog. And then we'll release down onto the knees, taking that just moment of child's pose. Hips reach back, arms extend out. On your next breath, we're going to roll up the spine in that cat-like back. So we roll the spine up. Let your pelvis shift towards your wrist. So we come into this modified upward facing dog. And then elbows bend, lower all the way down. And then just stacking your hands. Rest your head right on top of the hands. And again, find that place of ease. Allowing the balance as we let go of effort. Help you find your way into that place of ease. Each breath. Feeling each heartbeat. And bend the knees. And then making some circles with the ankles. Allowing those spaces to release. And just letting your legs windshield wiper to one side and then the other. And then as we let the legs relax along the mat, we'll bring our hands in line with the shoulders again, and then just bring yourself back to a nice wide-kneed child's pose. Your hips releasing towards the heels, hands reaching out nice and wide, and just let your forehead rest. Letting the full breath move into the entire back of the body. Adding some energy from the hands as you reach your seat back a little further. And then we'll slowly walk the hands in towards the knees. And we'll find our way into a seat, bringing your legs forward. So as you bring the legs forward, just making some room for your seat. Toes and reaching towards the sky. We'll take the arms up over the head. So find the strength in your posture, midline energy. So we talk a lot about that midline balance. So have the legs together, almost like you're squeezing the inner thigh together. Belly draws in, and then you reach up as high as you can. And as you finish forward, reach your heart towards your shoulders. And then let your hands rest wherever they find the best place for you. So try not to strain to get in there. See if you can reach your heart forward. And then let your head start to relax towards the legs. And again, sort of find that space with breath. Our forward folds help us to come back down into that inward space. Each breath just nourishing ourselves from the inside out. Each breath we take care of ourselves so that we can take care of each other. And slowly roll the spine up. And then just slide your hands kind of behind you with your fingertips either facing forward or back, whatever feels best on your wrist. And then we're going to bend your knees and open your feet out to about the width of the edges of the mat. So we're going to take a little hip stretch and just a little twist as well. So start to let your knees move to the right side together. And then if you will, take your left hand to your left hip and kind of just push over. So it's this little twist. And then you begin to balance and twist and reach your gaze now over the back, letting both hands come down to the ground. So take this little twist and stretch into the hips. And then we'll come back through center. Letting the hands find their way to the ground behind you. Feet find neutral. And then letting your knees go to the left. Literally bringing your right leg to your right hip. You just kind of give it a nudge so it's going to create this nice lift in the pelvis. And then we can twist, facing towards the back of the room, hands to the ground. So we create this nice twist through the body. Nicely stretching into the hips and the legs. Take some big, deep breaths here. And then we'll come back through center. Let your feet come to neutral, keeping your knees bent. And this time we're just going to let one knee come down and the opposite direction, just kind of letting your hips never go through that nice little stretch. And then we'll come back. Slowly beginning to make our way onto the mat. So make sure you're towards the top of your mat. So when you roll back, you've got some nice cushion head space for your head to rest on. So we'll come into a little, let's say small boat. So holding on to your knees, start to lean back. So almost where the crown of the head would reach for the place where the wall and ceiling meet. And then let your arms extend out. So this is where you can go. You can kind of stay up here if you'd like. Letting yourself find this nice strengthening place here, or you can begin to lift one leg and the other. You can be here with the knees bent. All depends on where you want to be. But we're going to use this boat to kind of let us relax down into the mat. So I like to stretch the legs out as I lay back. And then we'll eventually just let the arms and the legs relax all the way down onto the mat. to finding that place as we begin to surrender. Feeling the weight of the body completely supported from below. As if you're being held. And we'll begin to go into some supine twists. So begin to bend the knees. Placing your feet on the ground. And then what we're going to do here is cross your right leg over your left, as if you were just kind of crossing your legs easily. And then shift your hips. So I kind of push my foot into the ground and shift my hips to the right, and then let my legs fall to the left. And then you can kind of take that twist, right arm extends out, letting your gaze follow the right hand. And we come back to the beautiful rhythm of the breath here. As you breathe in, letting the breath expand into those spaces that need it most. Allowing each breath to create space. Each exhale, creating surrender. And then coming back to center. Bringing the legs up. And let your pelvis come back to center, uncrossing the legs. Both feet are grounded again, feeling the full length of the spine on the mat. And then we'll cross the left leg over the right, just kind of you're sitting in a chair. And then as you push that right foot into the ground, shift your hips over to the left. And then the knees just fall to the right. So depending on how you'd like to hold this, you can bring your right hand onto the legs, but more importantly, just extend your left arm out, letting your gaze come to the left. Letting the breath fill you up here. As you inhale, feeling the space and the rib cage expand. Each inhale filling you up. Each exhale allowing you to release. And then as you come back through center, allowing your pelvis to find that midpoint, nice and level, and then uncross the legs, letting your feet find the ground. And then for our last posture, we're going to bring the knees into the chest, coming into happy baby. So the knees come towards the shoulders, and then reaching through the hands, taking hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. So kind of stretching into the hips, and then just take it from side to side, allowing yourself to feel that nice rocking motion in the pelvis. You can begin to straighten one leg and then the other if you'd like, just kind of finding a little bit of motion in the feet, the ankles, all the way to the hamstrings. And then we'll slowly start to release the feet. And then walking out bending the knees, letting the soles of the feet find the edges of your mat. So the feet are out kind of wide, knees are bent. And then we're going to just let our right knee move towards the left ankle. So just taking this last little hip stretch. And then as the knees come back up, left knee finds its way towards the right ankle. So we're just kind of windshield wipering the legs side to side. And as you're doing this, start to walk your feet out and straightening the legs. So we kind of wiggle our way towards our final resting posture for Shavasana. And then as your legs find their nice long support on the mat, begin to pump and kind of move the feet back and forth, making last little movements, circling the ankles, the toes. And then we'll straighten the legs completely, reaching everything out, letting go of all effort in the legs, the feet, the toes. And then allowing the arms to relax alongside the body. Let the palms face up towards the sky as a symbol of receiving. And as you close the eyes, beginning to soften the muscles in the face, letting the eyes just start to feel heavy, allowing the jaw to relax, softening the lips. Coming back to your awareness of the breath. Just beginning to feel it flow in and out, without any control or reaction, but just beginning to witness the feeling of the breath as it comes in and out of the body. Letting the thoughts in the mind drift, as if there were clouds in the sky. Allowing yourself to just be. the beginning, just bring your arms back into breath. Making some small movements in your fingers and your toes. And beginning to make your way over onto one side, using your arm as a pillow. Making your way back up to a comfortable seat. And as you find that comfortable seat, bring your hands together at heart center. And we'll bow together towards our heart Anjali Mudra, symbol of heartfelt gratitude. Just taking a moment for all that we do have to be grateful for. Close this morning with the intention of Sloka, really an intention for all beings everywhere. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, be healthy, be free. May we each play our part. Namaste. It's so nice to be here with y'all this morning. And so nice to be with y'all at home too. I hope to see your faces around the studio too. Got lots of room. Just make sure you sign in online if you want to hold a space beforehand. But good to see y'all at home. Hope you're all doing well as well. Namaste. So when you're leaving, we're just asking that everybody kind of allow everyone to leave one by one to allow for space, and of course just being mindful of each other, which I know we always try to do. So thank you for being here. Thank you.